Folks, welcome to our webinar. I am your host, Saint-Gerard, your real estate agent, and I want to introduce my panel. I'm going to start with Anthony Curcio.
Hi, how are you?
And Anthony, what do you do?
My name's Anthony Curcio. I'm a real estate attorney with Curcio Law PLLC. We're a boutique real estate firm representing representing individuals and businesses in all aspects of real estate law, whether it's purchases, leasing, land use development, and financing.
And next but not least is David Goldklang.
How you doing? Thanks for having me. I'm Dave Goldklang, Citizens Bank residential lender, doing mortgages in all 50 states.
All right, thank you, panel. All right, so the reason that you guys are watching this is because you got married or you're engaged and you're planning to get married and you're possibly buying a home, probably selling a home, probably doing both at the same time. So we wanted to give you the game plan of what to expect when you're going through this transition. As you're starting a new journey, a new life with your significant other, there's some financial and real estate questions and legal questions that you have, and that's what we're here for, to answer those questions. So we're going to start off with you're getting married, you have your conversations obviously between the couples, you talk, you have your conversations, you put everything on the table. What's the plan? Are we moving into one household? If so, does one person own one home and the other one owns another home and you're planning to buy another home together? Are you going to be moving into one property and then sell the other property? You got to figure out what you're planning to do, what the game plan is. Once you figure it out, you meet up, have a conversation with a realtor. You ask those questions, basically figure out what your game plan is. If you're deciding you're getting married here and you're going to sell the properties and move to another place and relocate, it's another conversation that we're going to have. But one of the first things that you want to do is schedule time with the realtor and then also schedule time with your loan officer. So Mr. David, talk us through the process of they just got engaged, they're getting married, they're working through that process, and now it's house time.
Congratulations on your marriage. It's a conversation over who works, who makes money, who makes more money, where is the down payment coming from. I'm a believer of, and again, old school, call it what you like, but you're now married, you combine your income and your assets and everybody participates. The first step is getting pre-approved. This way you could see what your credit looks like, you could know what your income is, and get an overall picture of what you could qualify for. You might have dreams of the $1 million house, but your income and assets might only allow you to buy a $750,000 house or a $500,000 house. So at least this way you know. We do a full credit pull, and it gives you an idea of what there might be something on your credit you didn't know about. And this way we could find out what's happening, see where things are, see what your monthly payments are, and again, paint that overall picture, and we could say, at least I could show you, hey, even if you got that $750,000 house with your taxes and insurance, your monthly payment might be X, and it might be more than what you're willing to spend. So I could go over that basic information with you and give you all your options, and then you could go next step to a realtor and say, hey, this is what I could afford. Here's my pre-approval letter, and take it from there.
Talk to us about combining the incomes of both parties.
So I've seen a lot over the years. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I see people that, one spouse might say, hey, I don't want my other spouse to know that I have a $30,000 credit card bill, that I have all the student loan debt. It happens more than you think, or I don't want him or her to know how much money I make. So, marriage is sharing, and it's sometimes I've had the conversation, hey, this is, unless you plan on buying this by yourself, this is a team sport, and marriage is a team sport, and you have to share this information and come clean with your spouse. That would be your credit card debt or gambling addiction or shoe fetish, whatever it may be. But yeah, I've had that conversation a couple of times. But yeah, it's just laying your cards out on the table. This is what we can afford. This is what we want to be. Now, again, you might be moving to the suburbs from the city and you might not have a car. Well, now you're going to need 2 cars. So you have to face that, put that into the equation. You might have a young child that you now have to pay for daycare. You have to add that to your equation. Those things don't show up on the credit report, but that's something that you need to, needs to be in the conversation.
All right, Dave, are there any loan programs or benefits that newlyweds or first-time homebuyers should know about?
There are a ton of first-time homebuyer programs. Some are based on your income. Some are based on where you live now. Some are based on where you're going to. There are other programs for teachers, for doctors, for vets, there are a lot of programs. So I like to have the conversation and meet the potential clients early, and we could see, what do you do for a living? Are you an EMT? Are you a paramedic? Are you a cop, a fireman? Were you a vet? Are you a teacher? Certain demographics, some are based on income. So there's a lot of options. And there also is, if you don't have money to put down, there's, if you don't necessarily have a grant, there is options for 3% down payment, 5% down payment. There's a whole lot of things to cover. It's really just what your goal is. A lot of times it's the monthly payment. Where do you want to be? And I always tell people you have to sleep at night, right? So if you're gonna spend every penny that you have to buy this house and you're gonna be maxed out, things are not gonna be fun because there's expenses and things like I mentioned, the cars, the childcare that are gonna come down the road. You need to find a house that's in your price range that you could, feel comfortable being with.
I'm looking at the questions that are popping up as we're doing this. Someone's asking, what kind of documents should couples have when they're applying for a mortgage together?
So depending on what you do for a living, but let's say you're W-2 employees, you would want a W-2 so we can see what your income is with a pay stub. And generally we want to see some bank statements, right? We want to see what assets you have in the bank, checking, savings, stock. Now, retirement is a great tool. You could borrow up to $50,000 against your 401k without penalty. And you take it like a loan and you're paying yourself back if need be. Otherwise, the retirement is great for reserves. So a lender doesn't want to see that you spent every penny that you have to buy this house. They want to know that you have 4, 6, 12 months, access to some funds to know that, God forbid,
Financial business. And it's not comfortable because guess what? Like I said before, you have to be honest and open, put everything on the table. Maybe you don't want your cousin Sal knowing how much he actually makes.
And quite frankly, I don't want to do my cousin's loan either. Like my sister, or I don't want to do it. I will refer it to a friend because I don't want it to be, if your family member is chasing you to, use me, that's not a good sign either. Like when my sister bought a house, I referred her to my buddy, someone that I know and trust, because I do not want to be involved in my sister's loan. God forbid something happened, I don't want to be to blame. And that should be the same with all of us. I mean,
it's not
a family member not using me is a favor. You did me a favor by not using me.
It's something's going to go wrong.
They're the worst clients, and it's nothing but they expect the world out of you sometimes when they don't need to. I'm not saying I wouldn't put in twice the effort if it was a family member, but it's usually never as good as you think it's going to be. It really isn't. Never.
And you're not really saving that much money. We've mentioned that already because honestly, at the end of the day, somebody's going to have to pick up the extra work that the person who probably doesn't have enough skills to handle. Not saying that everybody is, but basically there might be a situation where the other side doesn't have enough skills to take care of what you're looking for. And they might miss a few things because they don't do this day in and day out like a professional would do.
And the basic rates and fees and title costs are all regulated, right? So there's no magic, there's no special place that's going to get such a lower rate, and the title costs aren't going to be much cheaper if it was your dad doing it or Anthony, right? It's the same. It's all regulated. Mortgages we don't print up the rates that we give or the costs. So it is, you want to be careful.
It's all customer service at the end of the day.
All right, so let's talk about the do's and don'ts. When you guys have experienced, you're both married, still married, happily married, I might add. That's a yes. That's a happily married. And
put that out. Yeah.
What are the do's and don'ts? I'll start with you, Anthony. Do's and don'ts. Basically, you got married. You're buying a home together, starting a new life. What are the do's and don'ts? What's advice you can give to people?
Just marriage in general.
Marriage and household. Building a household, living in a house.
Not legal stuff. Just being married. You mean?
If you want to do legal and
no, because you didn't say how much. I just want to make sure I got the question.
Whichever one you want to answer. You can speak as a married man and also as an attorney.
All right. Well, as a married man, I would say it's never easy. Life's not easy. It throws a lot of curveballs at you. I can definitely say that with my marriage, between my wife having kids and dealing with family and all that stuff. It's definitely challenging at times, and you really you get tested from time to time for sure, but it's nothing you can't handle if you have a strong marriage. So I'll say that much. And always don't take each other for granted. Always try to do date nights. Always try to keep it fresh, because if you don't do that, especially with our business, we work 1,000,000 hours a week. You start becoming roommates instead of husband and wife, and that's never a good. The road doesn't end good when it starts getting like that. So you got to just be aware of things that are going on.
All right, Dave, same question.
I mean, the same answer. Look, life throws a lot of curveballs. Family, health, life, death, pets. People lose their jobs. Things happen, and there's nobody. You make sure your spouse is your partner, right? Because there's nobody who's gonna have your back like your spouse. There's no one who's gonna be with you for your kids, right? I mean, to me, the kids is everything. If the goal is to have children, and you are a team, like that's your team right there. So however many you are, and look, like I said, someone's going to lose a job. Someone's going to pass away. A roof, you're going to have a flood. You're going to have a roof is going to repair. I mean, I just redid my roof. You spend a lot of money and you're like, you don't see, you can't see anything. There's no reward. And you just have to be on the same page. I'm not handy. Anthony's saying he could be a landlord. Like I had to pay a lot of money for these little problems. I couldn't handle a 2-family home with a rental. So you just have to be a team and talk about it and figure it out and just be upfront, because hiding things are always going to come up. Life has a funny way of just making everything come out in the open.
I think my advice would be, everybody touched on this, basically you're a team. Start dividing the household, chores, who's responsible for what, and stuff like that. Everybody needs to know what the other person's doing. Like David just said, just in case somebody does, is hospitalized or they're out of commission for a while, the other person knows, okay, this person does this. All right, I know that I need to do this now, since the other person is not capable right now. And I would, the other thing I would say is lean on your family as well, because your family, if mom and dad are nearby, they can take care of the kids for a couple of days, basically, while you get yourself, just breathing room.
If you're fortunate enough to have that, not
Yes,
everybody
if you're
has
fortunate
that.
enough. Yes, we don't want to put the kids as a burden on the parents and the grandparents, because grandparents love their the grandkids and they spoil their grandkids. We don't want to keep throwing them over to the grandma and grandpa all the time. Anyway, the other thing I would suggest is stay in contact with your realtor, stay in contact with your loan officer, stay in contact with your attorney, because like Dave said, like Anthony said, stuff comes up all the time. You're going to need some advice, whether it's financial advice, or whether it's going to be real estate advice, whether it's going to be legal advice. You're going to need some advice, and sometimes you might need somebody else just to talk things through. Hey, you know what? We were thinking about this. What do you think? Blah, 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 blah. Or can you recommend something or someone to help us with this and this? So stay in contact. Family, your friends, your professionals that you hire, stay in contact with them as well. Well, let's talk about the don'ts. What should they not do as a couple when it comes to home ownership or just combining everything together? Whoever wants to take this one first.
For finances, let's say you're fortunate enough to find your house and go on a contract. Do not go shopping for furniture. Do not buy a new car. Do not
Can you
start
say that one more
spending.
time louder, please? Louder. I want the
Do
guy in
not
the
buy
back.
furniture. Do not buy a car. Do not spend any money. Don't charge anything. Don't open up. Don't go and get a Gap. Don't go to the Saks or the Gap or Macy's and open up a new store card, because the banks get notified. It sends flags. It's a problem. I actually just had, and this one is not a problem, but it happens all the time. A gentleman called me today and said, I have a great opportunity for a new job. They're with their attorney negotiating the contract. I do this. I was told I can't change jobs. I said, you could absolutely change jobs if you have an offer letter from the new job, and before you close, which could be 3 months down the road or 2 months, we just need a pay stub. So the income is a little bit better on the new job, but the income worked on the old job, but it's fine. If a good opportunity comes up, take it, but just talk to me, right? So you're not going to go from a salary to 100% commission. That'll be a problem. You can't go quit your job and start a new business. That would be a problem, because you have no history of income and there's no income for a new business. But if you're going from a W-2 job to a W-2 job, sure, go ahead. It's perfect. But the thing I see is the cars. Somebody went out and they spent thousands at, they furnished the whole house that they don't even own yet on their Macy's credit card, and that's a problem. The payments that becomes a problem. You're leasing 2 new cars because you live in the city and you wanted these 2 cars, that's a problem. So you have to be patient and wait for those things.
One of the things that you just mentioned, which I loved, is pretty much the client called you, reached out to you, and talked to you about this before they did anything, which I have to say, I commend them. Standing
Right.
ovation, I'm standing right now. Definitely, before you do anything financial, pay your bills on time, do all the stuff that you're supposed to do. Talk to your lender regarding any financing. If Uncle Joe is giving you extra money, talk to your lender first before you put the money just like that in the bank, because it has to be seasoned. They want to know where the money's coming from. If you're moving money from one account to another account, talk to your lender. The other thing is do not co-sign for anything or anyone.
Do not co-sign anything.
You're
ever.
not co-signing for your brother-in-law for his new car or his motorcycle or whatever they're doing. You can't, because their debt is now your debt. And if they miss
Correct.
a payment, now you're a problem also.
And pay your bills, pay your student loans. I know there's a lot of talk right now with what's deferred, not deferred. If you get something in the mail, pay it. You want to make the minimum payment, but pay it. Don't let it show up on your credit. And the other thing, since we're sharing, but you get excited. I get it. You just got married. You're buying a house, and you tell me I have to close August 30th. I hired a mover. I got the stuff. You're not in control as the buyer, right? The guys who your house is buying from, he's probably buying or she's buying another house, and there's other factors involved. Once I clear you to close, the attorneys have to set the day. It's the buyer's attorney and the seller's attorney and the bank attorney will get together, and they'll pick a day that works for everybody. As the buyer, I know it's your money. You did all the work. You're not in control. You don't set that closing date.
All right, same question, Anthony. What's a don't, especially on the legal side, for people getting married? There's so many.
I know. Don't lie on your mortgage application, because I just had that happen with me recently.
Everything comes out in the wash.
Yeah. Apparently this woman thought she could put a fake reference for a company on her application, and the bank wasn't going to check. Wound up being, they called, the woman never existed, and she's going to get denied and lose about $60,000 in the process, because when you do sign that contract, there is a mortgage contingency clause, but also there's some language in there where if you're fraudulent in your application and you get denied and it's the fault of the purchaser, you're gonna have a tough case trying to get your money back at the end of the day, because you held up the seller and you knew you were lying. So gonna be a big problem. And you wasted everybody's time and your money. So nobody really wins in that situation.
So you lose the money, you don't even get the house just because.
Right, and you wasted your time. You just basically took $60,000 and lit it on fire.
That really sucks.
Yeah. That really has nothing to do with a don't or a dude being married, but I was just piggybacking on what Dave was talking
it's real
about.
estate and it's wedding.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just had a similar situation. The lady was terminated around the time, and she just assumed that she would get a new job for the same money, and she didn't. And she kept lying to the attorney, to the realtor, to everybody, to me. And I'm like, hey, I need, this pay stub you gave me. The W-2s are fine from 23 and 24, but your pay stub is from December of 24. We need an updated pay stub. Oh, it's coming. I can't find it. Here's the. And sure enough, she was terminated and wasn't able to find another job and lied the whole way through. I actually don't know what happened. I mean, I think she's the attorney said, yeah, you could lose that down payment. You fraudulently went into contract. So I don't know. It's going on right now, actually.
Nice.
That's unfortunate. My don't, for anybody who's watching this, who's getting married and buying and selling at the same time, is pretty much do not ghost your professionals. We can't help you fully if we don't know what's going on, and if you disappear, calling you, we're reaching out to you because you hired us and we're here to do a job for you, a service for you. Don't disappear. Be 100%.
We're on your side.
Yeah, exactly. Say that one more time. Let's all say it together. We're on your side.
We're on your side. Tell us the
can't be on your
truth.
side if
We
you
can't help you if we don't know the truth.
Exactly.
I have another don't, by the way.
Go for it.
Don't try to plan your wedding and buy a house at the same time, because speaking from experience, it's stressful enough trying to get a wedding going, and now you're buying a house and trying to make repairs, and you want to move in before you get married, ideally. Don't do it. Don't do it, because it just creates more pressure than you already need. There's no rush to get out of your parents' house. I get it. You're married. You want to get out. But I think you got to think long term, and you got to be smart about it.
I like that piece of advice. So pretty much take care of the wedding first. Then if you're going away after the wedding, do that. Be very mindful, like Dave said before. Think long and hard based about the money that you're going to be using to if you're doing the newlywed thing. You're going to your honeymoon and whatnot. Do we really need to spend $100,000 basically to go to our destination thing, or should we take that money or a portion of it and start building our home together and stuff like that?
I got a funny story about it. Night before the wedding. I'm at the house trying to clean up the house. Went down in the basement, ran the slop sink, tried to fill it up. Forgot that the sink was running down there. About 20 minutes it was running. Go downstairs, the entire basement was flooded the day before the wedding. 10 o'clock at night, I had like 17 people over my house with squeegees cleaning up the water, getting everything out of there. It was dry the next day, but
A lot of
that's
stress.
what I didn't need that the night before the wedding. It was crazy. So my wife had no idea I had to break it to her at the honeymoon. So she didn't care because with the honeymoon, you think
Okay.
she's drunk. It was a good mood. So that was a perfect time to tell her. But
All right. So what's another piece of advice you want to give to any newlyweds? They're buying and selling at the same time, or whatever they're doing after the wedding. They've had the conversation. Mom and dad decide to give them extra money to start their new life. What's a piece of advice you would want to give them?
it depends on the amount of money. But I would say put some in the bank so you have a nice cushion because you want to have some money in the savings account, and try to just knock down that payment. Try to just get that paid off as soon as you can. Because you're especially now you're going to be borrowing a lot of money no matter how you shake it. It's going to be the cheapest house you can buy that's in a decent area, probably 700,000, and that's probably being generous at this point. I'm not sure, but
Depending on the taxes.
yeah, on taxes and everything, it's going to be quite a hefty payment. So if you get an extra bonus at work, or if you fall into extra money, I suggest just try to get your equity up as much as you can. Because if you do that with the appreciation you're going to get and your low, it's like a forced savings account anyway. You can always pull the money out if you're really getting a jam. But, I would say get a nice cushion in the bank and just try to pay your house down. Because that's your number one asset, and that's going to be, once you take care of that, life is pretty good after that. That's your biggest payment by far.
Dave, same question.
So I didn't really talk about it. You brought it up. So if you're fortunate enough that your parents are going to give you money, there are rules with that as far as lending goes. It cannot be a loan. It has to be a gift, okay? So even though for tax purposes, somebody might say, I want to call it a loan, as far as a lender is concerned, it could only be a gift from an immediate family member. Parent, cousin, sibling, grandparent. We need to document where that money came from. So we have to see, there's a gift letter that we have you fill out, and let's say it's coming from your dad. So your dad's information is on this gift letter and your information. And then we have to see the money in your bank account and then the money leaving your dad's bank account. Now, we don't need all his statements, but if it's coming from his Chase account, we're going to need to see that money or proof that the money left that Chase account and coming into your account, right? It's more of money laundering type securities. We want to see you're not borrowing it from a loan shark. You didn't take a personal loan from somewhere else. It affects the ratios. We want to see, and this is every lender, they want to see the trail of where the gift came from. And then once the gift is given, you could talk to your parent, could talk to their accountant about any other way to do it. But for a lender, we could only see a gift and then be able to trail that money.
All right, since we're talking about finances, and we can ask you both the same question. When they're getting married, they might have had somebody preparing the tax. One person has somebody, and another person has somebody. Should they have one person doing both their tax now, since they're now a team, they're a union?
Yes. I mean, they should be filing jointly, right? Once you get married, you're going to file a joint tax returns. You are no longer individuals. You are now You are now joint. So whether it's your house,
Even if one spouse doesn't work, you want to do that.
Correct.
You save more money at the end of the day.
correct.
So I'm just thinking ahead because I know the questions are coming to me right now. How do the couple decide they're going to pick one person? What are some criteria they should be looking for somebody?
Pick an accountant.
Yeah, accountant, CPA. Besides asking one of us basically for a recommendation.
Like anything else, someone you know, like, and trust. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're at the beginning, if you're at simple W-2 employees, I mean, I can't think of one of the names of those companies, but there are plenty of
H&R Block.
Yeah.
H&R Blocks type places, a speedy return. to do that. As you make more money, once you buy the house, once you get some assets, and there are things to deduct, and this SALT tax, if it goes through, it's a huge victory for, especially if you're living in the tri-state area with high taxes, and with the interest rates, you'll be able to deduct the mortgage interest, you'll be able to deduct your property taxes. I would look to get a better CPA, accountant. It's worth the money.
Ant, you want to add anything to that?
No, I'd have the same exact, the same answer as Dave, basically, because, when you first start out and you're a W-2, there's really not much you can do. I mean, the home does provide some tax benefits, which is good. And if you own a two-family home, it's even better because you could write off a lot of, maintenance charges and, whatever else. There's a lot of benefits to that as well when you own a two-family home. So I have gone through a few different accountants because sometimes you just realize it's not a right fit, or things just aren't working out, or they screwed up and you owe taxes, or you paid too much or whatever, and you have to get that fixed now. And especially now, with owning a business, it's very key to finding a good accountant.
Actually, I'm glad you brought up the business part. Some married couples, besides the house, they might have a business, and now they're collaborating in the business, or they're opening up a business. So any advice basically you have for them for that?
I'm not really a corporate attorney. I do know that they could apparently they could still try and go after the business or get a piece of the business, I believe, if there is some kind of divorce going on.
So speak to a professional that handles
Yeah,
that.
speak to a professional, a corporate attorney or an estate planning attorney if you have a business, especially if you have one that you're making quite a bit of revenue. I would suggest protecting yourself, speaking to someone that knows it better than me.
All right.
Anthony gave good advice. When you buy
Right. I didn't
too,
say let me try it out and let me see what I could do. No, I could recommend it to somebody else. I don't.
Yeah.
I wish I
I
knew
would get a
everything.
life insurance policy. If you're buying a house, you just got married, you want to get a life insurance policy. If you're getting a $500,000 mortgage, you want to make sure that term life policy, which is inexpensive, call it $1 million. You want to make sure it's enough to pay off the mortgage, so your spouse, one or the other, could afford to live. And if you have children, you might want to increase that policy. But yes, I think one of those first things you should do, and a term life policy is very inexpensive if you're healthy and a young adult, that if you're getting married, you probably are. That's something you should do as well. Go get a term life policy. Call it $1 million. It's going to be under $1,000 a year. Protect your spouse. Protect your assets.
All right. The other
Yeah,
thing,
that's very smart. I can't believe I forgot about that.
we
Yeah.
all kind of forgot some stuff about
I make the big bucks.
All right. The other thing I want to address this also, because there are people who pretty much, this might not be their first marriage. It might be the second or third or fourth. And, they're going to give it a try again. Look, you still need to talk to your professionals. You've had your luck before. Whatever happened in the past relationship is the past relationship. Don't bring that into the new relationship. It's a completely different person, different experience, different scenario. So just keep an open mind. Obviously, keep your eyes open for any red flags that you saw previously. But talk to your professionals. Talk to your spouse. Always talk to your spouse. Talk to your spouse first before you talk to anybody else. Anything else you guys want to add, or we can wrap this up right now? Wrap it up
Good. I appreciate you having
Yeah.
us. It was fun.
anytime.
Yeah, man.
We
It's
wouldn't
good.
be able to do this stuff without these two gentlemen. Thank you so much, and I want to give them the floor. David, how can they reach you if they have any financial questions, whether they're purchasing or they're refinancing or whatever the case may be? How can they reach out to you and let them know the services that you offer?
So Dave Goldklang, I'm at Citizens Bank. Purchases, refinances, lines of credit, construction loans, condos, co-ops, anything regarding residential real estate, multifamilies, and all 50 states. We live in New York. A lot of people are leaving New York. So I have a lot in Florida, Texas, the Carolinas. Any questions involving this, feel free to reach out. It's my website is davegoldklang.com, and my email is, that's probably the best way. It's david.goldklang at Citizens Bank, but davegoldklang.com. Just go to my website. You'll find all my information and reach out. And I'm on all the LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Dave Goldklang. I try to be everywhere.
Anthony, same question. People just watch this. They want to find out more about you, the services that you offer. Contact info.
You can go to my website if you want to really get in deep. I got videos up there, some videos that we've done together. I've done a few podcast appearances talking about how I became an attorney, how I got my experience, that sort of thing. CurcioLawPLLC.com is the website. You could also check me out on all the socials, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I don't do Twitter or any of those other things, or X, whatever it's called now. Or you can call me. Call me on my cell, 631-943-8351. You can text me at the same number, or you can call my office, 516-809-8483.
I did forget one last thing to ask both of you. For the people who are watching this, they might speak multiple languages. In your team, your staff, the people that you have working around you, do you have other people that speak multiple languages? And if so, which languages do you guys service? Besides
I
English?
speak English only, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
I speak English, but in my office, and my assistant speaks fluent Polish, but the Spanish with my office, there's a little bit of everything, so I'm sure we could find a way to communicate.
My office, we have, I think, 38 languages spoken. I speak English most of the time, if you can understand me. I speak Brooklynese most of the time. But anyway, I'm Evantz Saint-Gerard, real estate agent, full-time real estate agent. That's all I do, residential work. If you're looking to buy and sell at the same time, that's one of the things that we do. And you can reach me on my cell phone, which is always with me, 77975-5985. As a New Yorker, I do talk fast, so I'm actually surprised that I was talking. I'll give you the number one more time, 917-975-5985. I can be found on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. Pretty much most of the social media, you'll find me as Evantz, EVANTZ, sells homes. Again, with me, my team, and these two gentlemen, we want to be able to be your resource whenever you need us. We're here. If you're not ready for that conversation, know that we're always here. We're just a phone call away, text away, email away. You can send carrying pigeons, smoke signals. We're here. We're here to help you. So don't be shy. Give us a call, and there's no stupid questions. We've heard a lot of questions, and we probably have the answers. And something that you might be thinking might be a problem might not be. So give us a call. Let's have that conversation.
We've seen every situation. They can't surprise us.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, we're probably gonna get a surprise after that. But anyway, all right,
Fun.
guys.
Don't make yourself crazy getting nervous. People get nervous and they don't even enjoy the process. So,
Thank you for
enjoy
saying
it.
that. That's how we end this. Enjoy the process. Enjoy your wedding. Enjoy your new life together. You might be starting over. Congratulations. This is going to be a better avenue for you right now. So just enjoy the moment, and then when you're ready to do the next leg of life, which is home ownership or getting a bigger home or downsizing, whatever it is, give us a call. We can help you. We can point you in the right direction. That's pretty much it. You go have a great day, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Congrats on your wedding.
Congratulations, newlyweds.
And we're done.